Conservatives on 19%. Reform, though, are on 17%, and that's why it's got everybody talking. There is a change of methodology. You can go online, and YouGov has explained what they've done, and they've also recalibrated some of their previous results to show that these ones are not wildly out there, that they're not an aberration, if you like. They are logical. The reason why lots of Conservatives are very worried by this is because Reform are obviously 2 percentage points behind the Tories on 19. Interestingly, I read somewhere yesterday the Tories have never polled less than 30% in any general election previously, even under William Hague. And I say that we all love William Hague, but the Tories, I think, polled 32%. So to be hovering around 19% and that be an actual reality is it's a huge moment for that party. And lots of people considering, well, what does this mean for the future of the Tories? They know they're going to lose, but if Reform can genuinely translate that into an election result, and I think that's a big question, then that 17% is absolutely huge.
Doesn't seem to be like an honest person. Like, I wish he was a UK version of Trump. I genuinely do. I love Trump. He's done bad things, but genuinely speaking, he's an honest bloke and he can't be bought. Starmer, they all just seem to be bought and paid for, or they work for someone else. And Farage is just the same with me.
I think if we had Trump at the time that Brexit was being negotiated, we'd have a far better deal. We would have actually left. I don't think he'd have took any crap.
With Trump, I mean, I don't like the man. I don't like what he's done out in America, but fair play to him while he was out there. He did a damn good job of being president. So, and there's a lot of people who still support him out there, but because I think he was truthful in what he was saying.
I'm the opposite. I don't like Trump at all. I think a horrible man, and also he's the type of guy that it's his opinion or it's wrong, and I just don't want that as the Prime Minister of this country. Like, you've got to be able to take other things into consideration, I think. So I don't know, it's a sticky one, to be honest, because I agree with Reform, but I'm not of the biggest Nigel Farage fan.
It's probably just being sick of the same old bullshit again. Someone like Trump, he obviously isn't necessarily a good guy or a gentleman or anything like that, but he didn't take any shit from anyone. He sat at the table, he sat people down, he tried to stop things, he genuinely actually tried to stop hoarding things if you read into things. If Farage was the same kind of person, mate, I'll vote for him.
What we just need is somebody to take the reins and actually take control, do what they're going to say, kind of straightforward, kind of like what we're getting at the Trump remark.
The SNP and the nationalist cause have almost kind of dominated Scottish politics in modern times, despite the referendum result in 2014. You do get the kind of feeling now that, I mean, that was then and this is now, that you had your chance. It didn't work, and it's pretty much over for the foreseeable future.
I remember that old Edinburgh phrase, you've had your tea there.
Indeed. You've had your chance.
Yeah, but everybody deserves a second chance. I mean, every party and every nation. So I think we'll get another chance, but you have to make it the priority. Why have the SNP done so well since 2007? Because each election in Scottish politics has been dominated by the constitutional question. In this election, the SNP have allowed the constitutional question to not slip right off the political agenda, but way down people's list of priorities.
But you say, you have to make it the priority. But if you ask Scottish voters, list your concerns. What's really worrying you? It's not independence. It's way behind health. It's way behind education. It's way behind housing. It's way behind the cost of living.
But as you and I both know, the holy grail of pursuing constitutional politics is to link your constitutional aim to the bread and butter issues of social and economic progress which concern people the most. That we've managed to do in the national movement for, well, basically most of the last 20 years. But unfortunately, in this election, the SNP have taken their foot off the independence pedal.
But what would you do for independence to achieve it that the SNP hasn't done?
Well, two things. One, if we were fortunate enough to to emerge as that strong left arm of the independence movement and the coalition government, then we'd reintroduce some adults back into the room in the Scottish Parliament and some competence into government to reinforce the confidence of the Scottish people. And secondly, in the absence of a referendum, because, you know, given the SNP's huffing and puffing for the last 10 years, Westminster are not going to offer one.
Keir Starmer's not going to give you one.
Well, exactly. And therefore you have to do as many countries have done before us, Andrew. You've got to put a ballot box opportunity in an election and unambiguously look for a popular mandate in an election for independence.
At a time when the SNP's on the back foot at the moment, or the nationalist cause. It's more difficult. That's my thing. You had your chance.
But how do political parties get off the back foot onto the front foot? Well, the first thing is a psychological thing. You've got to get yourself to take the initiative. Now, I, if I may say so, I helped turn a small party into a very large party in Scotland. It took the best part of 20 years. I'm going to try the same thing again, except I'm hoping for a much shorter time scale.
But in your heart of hearts, are you not privately reconciled to the prospect that the chances of independence in your lifetime are receding?
Andrew, I'm not going to say read my lips because that's always unfortunate, but just listen to me when I tell you I intend to lead Alapa into an independence coalition in the next Scottish Parliament, in the next Scottish Government. And from there, face down Westminster in the sort of way I did before, with renewed vigour and learning all the lessons I've learned from the past and applying them for the future. That is my intent.
I understand. Okay. Well, I hope we see you before 2026.
I'm sure you will. And we'll have time to practice Alapa.
Alba,
Oh,
or Alba, or Alba.
Or Alba, if I think we solve it. That's very good. Fantastic, Andrew.
Alex Salmond gives elocution lessons to anybody who needs them. Thank you.
He says that Rishi Sunak is a liar.
Well, he's completely misplaced and he shouldn't be doing it at all, frankly. Look, we're very clear. We have put out a report which analyses the clear spending commitments that Labour have made that we fully expect them to now put into their manifesto, and we find a black hole of £38.5 billion. Now, Labour can focus on process as much as they like. What they're not focusing on is actually those commitments. So, the questions to ask Labour are those commitments real commitments? Are they going to appear in your manifesto, or are you going to U-turn on them? And if they are going to appear in your manifesto, they need to be costed. And of course, they can have a debate about the costings that are being put forward. But there is in total a black hole of £38.5 billion. They've ruled out tax rises on income tax, national insurance. After pressure from our press department, they finally ruled out increases in VAT as well, which then begs the question, where are they going to find that kind of money? Because that's a huge sum. What taxes are they going to go for? And I have my suspicions on that. But we will keep asking those awkward questions of Labour because they can't keep going through this election with this Ming-Vars strategy of not telling us what they stand for.
Do you think that election campaigns need to be honest, Mel Stride?
Of course they do.
Do you think they are? Do you think they are honest?
Yeah, I certainly think if that's a reference to the 2000 tax increase under Labour, I think those numbers are very cautious in that document. The vast majority of them have been analysed by the Treasury. It is absolutely right that we have then added up those figures, subtracted the revenue raises from the spending commitments and divided that by the number of working families in the country to get that figure of 2,000. But that is a robust number. And what Labour now need to do is to stop saying all these ridiculous things about the Prime Minister and his motivations and so on, and start actually answering questions about whether those numbers are correct or not. Are these things that Labour have committed to, or are they going to U-turn? And if they have committed to them, how are they going to fund them? It's going to have to be through further tax rises.